we are in a section where a disciple has already reached that goal. So before proceeding, let us read from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. David?
I'm reading from a lecture entitled Maya and Illusion by Swami Vivekananda from his Jnana Yoga lectures. Thus we find that Maya is not a theory for the explanation of the world. It is simply a statement of facts as they exist, that the very basis of our being is contradiction, that everywhere we have to move through this tremendous contradiction, that wherever there is good, there must also be evil, and wherever there is evil, there must be some good. Wherever there is life, death must follow as its shadow, and everyone who smiles will have to weep, and vice versa. Nor can this state of things be remedied. We may verily imagine that there will be a place where there will be only good and no evil, where we shall only smile and never weep. This is impossible in the very nature of things, for the conditions will remain the same. Wherever there is the power of producing a smile in us, there lurks the power of producing tears. Wherever there is the power of producing happiness, there lurks somewhere the power of making us miserable.
So we are living in this world of duality, world of relative existence. In another place, Swamiji has said, whatever is happiness in certain condition, in another situation, the same thing becomes source of misery. When we do not have any means, we walk. But when we have a little money, we can buy a bicycle. But when we have more money, we can have a automobile. So then that previous one becomes miserable. So what is the point? In this world, whatever we see, everything is in relation to something else. If something gives joy now, the same thing may give sorrow in another condition. So it is relative existence. So it goes, these pairs of dual throng go together. Sukhe dukhe. That's why Sri Krishna says, Sukhe dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. These are dual throngs. We are to be equanimous. How can we be equanimous? When we stand on our own feet, not depending on the objective world. So whenever we are engrossed in objective world, this will happen. As I give the example of a beaker and a pencil, whenever we put that pencil, not required. So it looks tilted. So whenever we see the truth through dual throng, this is the statement. That means the truth is seen through some medium. When we see through a medium, it is distorted. Yes, go ahead.
Thus, the Vedanta philosophy is neither optimistic nor pessimistic. It voices both these views and takes things as they are. It admits that this world is a mixture of good and evil, happiness and misery, and that to increase the one must of necessity increase the other. There will never be a perfectly good or bad world, because the very idea is a contradiction in terms. The great secret revealed by this analysis is that good and bad are not two cut and dried separate existences. There is not one thing in this world of ours which you can label as good and good alone. And there's not one thing in the universe which you can label as bad and bad alone. The very same phenomenon which is appearing to be good now may appear to be bad tomorrow. The same thing which is producing misery in one may produce happiness in another. The fire that burns the child may cook a good meal for a starving man. The same nerves that carry the sensations of misery carry also the sensations of happiness. The only way to stop evil, therefore, is to stop good also. There is no other way. To stop death, we shall have to stop life also. Life without death and happiness without misery are contradictions, and neither can be found alone, because each of them is but a different manifestation of the same thing. What I thought to be good yesterday, I do not think to be good now. When I look back upon my life and see what were my ideals at different times, I find this to be so. At one time, my ideal was to drive a strong pair of horses. At another time, I thought if I could make a certain kind of sweetmeat, I should be perfectly happy. Later, I imagined that I should be entirely satisfied if I had a wife and children and plenty of money. Today, I laugh at all these ideals as mere childish nonsense. The Vedanta says there must come a time when we shall look back and laugh at the ideals which make us afraid of giving up our individuality. Each one of us wants to keep this body for an indefinite time, thinking we shall be very happy. But there will come a time when we shall laugh at this idea. Now, if such be the truth, we are in a state of hopeless contradiction, neither existence nor non-existence, neither misery nor happiness, but a mixture of them. What then is the use of Vedanta and all other philosophies and religions? And above all, what is the use of doing good work? This is a question that comes to the mind. If it is true that you cannot do good without doing evil, and whenever you try to create happiness, there will always be misery, people will ask you, what is the use of doing good? The answer is, in the first place, that we must work for lessening misery, for that is the only way to make ourselves happy. Every one of us finds it out sooner or later in our lives. The bright ones find it out a little earlier, and the dull ones a little later. The dull ones pay very dearly for the discovery, and the bright ones less dearly. In the second place, we must do our part, because that is the only way of getting out of this life of contradiction. Both the forces of good and evil will keep the universe alive for us until we awake from our dreams and give up this building of mud pies. That lesson we shall have to learn, and it will take a long, long time to learn it.
Yeah, so when there is life, there should be death. So we cannot get rid of it. Then what is to be done? As Sri Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, that we have right to work, karmani eva adhikaraha, but we do not have right on the fruits of the action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. So what is to be done? Ma karma phala heturbhu. Don't make yourself a creature of your own circumstances. What we do, we make ourselves a creatures. We always are trying to find out the results. We are to do, because without karma, nobody can remain even for a moment. Nahi kashchit kshanam api jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Therefore, one has to work. One has to work without any attachment. Ma karma phala heturbhu. So not to get attached. Then what? If it is so difficult, why should I do? Because if you don't do, then you are doing something which is called nothing. Ma karma phala heturbhu mate sangastu akarman. You will be attached with non-functioning. Therefore, one should not get attached with non-functioning. Should not. And one should work. So we are doing our part. Yes, we are trying to ameliorate. We are to remove the misery. But in this process, we get rid of misery. Means we go beyond this dual throng. When once someone is within this, one cannot get rid of it. But by doing this, one gets beyond these dual throng. Yes.
Attempts have been made in Germany to build a system of philosophy on the basis that the infinite has become the finite. Such attempts are also made in England, and the analysis of the position of these philosophers is this, that the infinite is trying to express itself in this universe, and that there will come a time when the infinite will succeed in doing so. It is all very well, and we have used the words infinite and manifestation and expression and so on, but philosophers naturally ask for a logical, fundamental basis for the statement that the finite can fully express the infinite. The absolute and the infinite can become this universe only by limitation. Everything must be limited that comes through the senses, or through the mind, or through the intellect. And for the limited to be the unlimited is simply absurd and can never be. The Vedanta, on the other hand, says that it is true that the absolute, or the infinite, is trying to express itself in the finite, but there will come a time when it will find that it is impossible, and it will then have to beat a retreat. And this beating a retreat means renunciation, which is the real beginning of religion. Nowadays, it is very hard even to talk of renunciation. It was said of me in America that I was a man who came out of a land that had been dead and buried for 5,000 years and talked of renunciation. So says perhaps the English philosopher. Yet it is true that that is the only path to religion. Renounce and give up. What did Christ say? He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. Again and again did he preach renunciation as the only way to perfection. There comes a time when the mind awakes from this long and dreary dream. The child gives up its play and wants to go back to its mother. It finds the truth of this statement. Desire is never satisfied by the enjoyment of desires. It only increases the more, as fire when butter is poured upon it.
Yeah. So what is the solution then? As Swamiji also says, that it is renunciation. Renunciation of what? Renunciation of what you are not. We cling to the world so much that we think that this world is my own. But as a poet, Rabindranath says that ei to pai chalar path, this is the path, way, on which so many people are treading. Eseche boner moddho diye mathe. I mean, it has come like wandering and mingling with various fields and then baganer pash diye, dighir dhar diye, like he just poetically he said. And then he thought this path is my own. So he asked the path. But then he discovered that we have a permission to tread on this path only once. Only once. It's not our path. So this is that we are treading only on once in this. Therefore, we are to find out what is our real self and not to get attached with this world. So renunciation means renunciation of something which we are not. What we are, we cannot renounce. Say, if I remove this, because this is not me, so I can remove. But whatever I am, that cannot be removed from me. So this is the exploration that we are to find. Now I'll read a little from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So that will be clear. Today we have read this. So M asks, Sir, is there no spiritual discipline leading to realization of the impersonal God? Say personal God and impersonal God. Personal God means we worship a deity and we have some concept, and that way we proceed on this path. Impersonal in other uh, other point is impersonal. That means it is not personal, it is universal. Sri Ramakrishna says, Master, yes, there is, but the path is extremely difficult. After intense austerities, the rishis of the olden times realized God as their innermost consciousness and experienced the real nature of Brahman. But how hard they had to work. They went out to their dwellings in the early morning and all day practiced austerities and meditation. Returning home at nightfall, they took a light supper of fruit and roots. But an aspirant cannot succeed in this form of spiritual discipline if his mind is stained with worldliness, even in the slightest degree. The mind must withdraw totally from all objects of form, taste, smell, touch, sound. Only thus does it become pure. The pure mind is the same as the pure Atman. But such mind must be altogether free from woman and gold, that means lust and gold. When it becomes pure, one has another experience. One realizes God alone is the doer, and I am his instrument. One does not feel oneself to be absolutely necessary to others, either in their misery or in their happiness. Once a wicked man beat into unconsciousness a monk who lived in a monastery. On regaining consciousness, he was asked by his friends, "Who is feeding you, sir, you milk?" The monk said, "He who beat me in is now feeding me." So here also Sri Ramakrishna says it is renunciation of objective or objects that we perceive through eyes, ears, taste, that means through our tongue, and we smell. So all perceptions. So it is purified mind. So one way is to shut all the senses, but other is to think that all these are creation of same God. So when one meditates on God, he realizes that God is within and God is outside also. So antar vahischa tat sarvam vyapya narayana sthita. So he is within, he is outside. So there also it is not what we perceive. What we perceive this table, chairs, etc. But such a person, when mind is purified, he really knows it is God and God alone who is manifesting in so many forms. So this is the mature state. One should not jump to maturity. Rather, one should go gradually and slowly, but surely. And that is through the path of renunciation. First, one has to renounce. After maturation, then one may find that it is the same God is manifesting in so many forms. Sri Ramakrishna gave example. As you go by stairs, You reach roof first. After reaching roof, then you can find that the stairs are also made up of the same material as the roof is made up of. But if you just stay near the stairs, you never reach the roof. After reaching roof, then only one can see that God is manifesting in so many forms. So anyway, renunciation is the main thing. Renunciation of what? If we analyze, it is renunciation of ego. Ego is very difficult to go. If one can renounce ego, yes, done it. And ego creates the problem. So Sri Ramakrishna, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, what we find, he's beyond the control of three gunas. He's like a child, a divine child. There is no ego in him. He would, many times he would say, here. Even he could not utter me or myself or aham. Rather, he would say, here. Sometimes he would say, but this is only temporary. Now here comes our text. We have already read it. Here the disciple has reached that state where he has renounced all the outer objects and he realized his own self. What happens then? See, we also experience this. It is not that altogether different, that it is not experienceable. We experience. How we do? First, we are entangled in this world. Then we go to sleep. We are totally cut off from this world. This world disappears from us. And in dream, we enjoy. But a time comes when there is no dream even. There is no world, this visible world, no dream world, but still we are there. So it is not that totally aligned, totally different from us. That is our real self. Only thing that happens when we are ignorant, in ajnana, in ignorance. But this we are to reach with knowledge. We are to reach when we are aware of it. So with awareness, we are to remove the objective world. After reaching that, then we can see it is God and God alone who is manifesting in so many forms. So here, Tushnim Avastha, 526. Tushnim Avastha Paramopashanti Buddhehe. Asat kalpa vikalpa hetoho. To the sage who has realized Brahman, the mind which is the cause of unreal fancies. As of now, it may look like, oh, wonderful, this world is wonderful, but it is unreal fancy. In a dream also we think, oh, it is wonderful dream, but unreal fancy. See, we are talking from as a Jnani's standpoint. You know, many times we mix up, that's the problem. From Jnani's standpoint, this world is illusory. Illusory means not unreal. What we see, it is not like that. What is that? Tad buddhi. That what it is not, we see it is like this. The reality is behind everything. It is the same reality. Say like this, we see gold in ornaments, But ignorant people will see it is ornament, but we see gold all the time. We see various artifacts of mud. It may have various names and forms, but it is made up of mud. As Sri Ramakrishna went to an exhibition and he saw various depiction of Sri Krishna. Sometimes Sri Krishna is playing flute and sometimes tending cows, but all are made up of sugar. Children are happy to see so many forms, so many leelas. But the creator knows that it is all made up of sugar. So, Tushnim Avastha means silence. One attains the state of silence. Paramopashanti means he is in supreme quietude. To the sage who has realized Brahman, the mind which is the cause of unreal fancies become perfectly tranquil. So Tushnim. Why it is so? Because the absence of other things. He knows that it is one and one alone. Neha nanasti kinchana. Here there are not many. He knows this, and therefore he becomes silent. Tushnim avastha, paramopashanti, buddhe, asat, buddhe, asat kalpa vikalpa hetu. It is our fancy of our intellect that we see many. We see it is something is pleasing to me, something is not pleasing, or aversion. We feel aversion for that. So this is because of our intellect and play of intellect. As Swamiji also said, we see here duality. Whatever is happiness, that comes in miserable state also. When we are attracted and attached with this world, but a person who can segregate, who can separate that I am not this world, with this in mind, he becomes silent. It is not words, it is the experience that one must have. Brahmatmana brahmavido mahatmano yatra advaya ananda sukham nirantaram. So that person, he knows that I am Brahman, I am the self, as Sri Ramakrishna also said. I am Brahmavit, Brahmavido, Mahatmana. So he is the knower of Brahman. Knower means whatever is known, Brahmavit, Brahmaiva bhavati. It is not like knowing chemistry or knowing architecture. It is knowing one's own real self. This knowledge is different. It's like a king forgot that he's a king. And a minister recognized, oh, you are our king. Oh, no, I'm not king. But when he realizes, yes, I am the king, then he gets that power. As the story of that tiger, which was raised with the lambs, it forgot that it is a tiger. But Guru comes and says, you are a tiger. Why you are mimicking lambs? Get up. So he recognizes this is different kind of knowledge, knowing the self. So he attains that Brahmavit, Brahmaiva bhavati. So what about us? Atasmin tad buddhi. Whatever is not me, we identify as I am this. See, we identify with our body. We identify with our mind. We identify with our intellect. And we think it is me. If you touch me, why you have touched me? If you say insulting word, immediately we react. Why did you insult me? So this is because of identification. Identification. So a person who has realized the self, he has gone beyond the 12 throngs. He says, it is he who beat me is now feeding milk. He identifies with the whole world. It is me and me alone. To the sage who has realized Brahman, the mind which is the cause of unreal fancies becomes perfectly tranquil. So it is not that he tries to be tranquil. It becomes, because all disturbances are gone, he is totally tranquil. He is no more vacillating because of wrong identification. So Brahmatmana Brahmavido Mahatmano Yatra Advayananda Sukham Nirantaram. So he is knower of self, knower of Brahman, and he is great soul. And he enjoys. Enjoys means not enjoyment like we enjoy toffee or something like that. Because he is in own self, we enjoy in a dreamless sleep. Similar, I mean, this is only example, but that is not enjoyment, because then we again we come to the same position where we were. But after attaining this, he cannot come to that ordinary level because he has attained. So let us go to the next. Though we have gone through it. Nasti nirvasanat maunat param sukhakrit uttamam vijnatam atmaswarupasya swananda rasa painaha. To the man who has realized his own nature and drinks the undiluted bliss of the self, there is nothing more exhilarating than the quietude that comes of a state of desirelessness. So desirelessness, total renunciation. Again, renunciation means whatever we are not. Renunciation means renouncing ego. We know, but it is difficult. This is the problem. But one has to try. There is no other way. Ego will hurt. With that hurt, one has to learn and try to be without ego, without egolessness. So ego means here misunderstanding. So it's called sambhrama, samyak brahma. So gachantis tishthan upavishyan chayano va anyatha vapi va yathichaya vasit vidwan atma rama sadamani. Such a person, there is no rule. There is no rule means such a person nistriguna pathi vicharantha ko vidhi ko nishadha, who walks in the field where there is no control of three gunas. Therefore, he has no set rule. So Sri Ramakrishna is walking. Sometimes he took the cloth under his armpit. He has no sense of shame. Is he inert? No, he is not inert. He is quite aware what he is. But so-called limitations is beyond so-called limitations. So therefore, to such a person, there is no rule. But does it mean that he eats whatever like a dog eats? No, not like that. Ko bhedo ashuchi bhakshane. Then what is the difference if he behaves like that? I mean, this is only an example. Even a Brahmagyani came and he was eating, and part of it he was sharing with the dogs. So what is being said? He cannot behave like ignorant person. Then what is the difference between Jnani and Ajnani? The knower of self and not knower of self. As Sri Ramakrishna said, that an expert dancer cannot put a false step. Whatever he does, it's all part of dance. The singer cannot sing, an expert singer, not novice. Expert singer cannot go beyond the beat and also beyond, not beyond. He cannot make a mistake like our novices make, because he has gone beyond that. So he is beyond all rules and regulations. It's like emergency vehicle. It goes wherever it wants. There is no set rule for it. One can argue that, okay, they have also a rule. So this is for them, there is no rule. This is the rule. Okay, we go to the next. Nadesha kalasana digyamyadi lakshyadyapeksha pratibadha vritte samsiddha tattvasya mahatmanoasti swavedane ka nyamyadyavastha. The noble soul who has perfectly realized the truth and whose mind functions meet with no obstruction, no more depends upon conditions of place, time, posture, direction, moral disciplines, objects of meditation, and so forth. What regulative conditions can there be in knowing one's own self? So once, that Guru Nanak was sleeping, putting his foot towards Kaaba, the Muslim, pilgrim place. So a Muslim came and said, "Dear sir, what are you doing? You are putting your feet towards Kaaba." I said, "Okay, I don't know. So could you kindly put my feet to that direction where there is no Kaaba?" But he put the other direction, there also is the Kaaba. So for such a person who knows about it, for him there is no even direction, there is no moral disciplines and no posture, whatever way they like. They go beyond all the rules and regulations. Okay, we go to the next. Ghato ayamiti. Ghataha ayamiti vigyatum niyamaha ko anvavikshate. Bina pramana shushtutam yasmin sati padarthadhi. What is the meaning? To know that this is a jar, what condition, forsooth, is necessary except that the means of knowledge be free from defect, which alone ensures a cognition of object. Okay, simple. Let us make it simple. If I ask Joseph, he said, yes. How you know that you are Joseph? Or say, David, yes, David. It does not require, okay, give me a certificate. Then I'll say, yes. It is immediate. When we call with somebody's name, it is immediate. So what is natural within us? So it does not require another proof or pramana. So this is a mic. It does not require to produce a certificate that this is a mic. One may argue, no, first time somebody says mic, so that time because of the convention, now it is called. what is being said here? Only we need to have the right kind of perception. If my eyes are okay, I'll say, oh, this is mic. Oh, this is book. So for knowledge, we need our right kind of perception. That's all. So to know ourselves, we need the right kind of perception. So ghataha ayam iti vigyatum niyamaha ko anvekshate. So this is mic. What else we need? Except my eyes should be clear. Bina pramana shushtutam yasmin sati padarthadi. So only condition is I must perceive correctly. That's it. It does not require some pramana, some evidence. If I can recognize what is me, only that pramana, that clear understanding should be there. Only clear understanding. It is not required by anything else. Say I'm talking. If I know I'm talking, that is enough for my talking. So it does not require additional pramana. What is pramana? How you are saying that you are talking? I know I'm talking. That's my pramana. That is my evidence. It does not require other evidences. We go to the next. Ayam atma nitya siddha pramane sati bhasate. So this self is nitya siddha. It is self-evident. If I ask, Tori, are you there? He said, yes, Swami, I am there. How you know? I am there, I know. So ayam atma nitya siddha. Nitya siddha means it is self-evident and always it is there. Na deshanapi na va kalam na shuddhim va apekshate. For him there is no. So let us translate. So this Atman, which is an eternal variety, manifests itself as soon as the right means of knowledge is present and does not depend upon either place or time or internal purity. Whether you are pure or not, you are there. Whether you are here or India or anywhere, you are there. So na desha, na pikala. Morning, you are there. Evening, you are there. Night, you are there. So nothing depends on your existence, or you are not depending on anything but yourself. Ayam atma nitya siddha. So this self is nitya siddha, means eternally proven. It is eternally proven. And it does not require any other evidence. Give me a certificate that I exist. Nobody asked that. Will you ask me, do I exist? You will not ask. You know that you exist. So it is self-evident. So we go to the next. Devadatto ayam ityetat Vijnanam nirapekshakam tatvat brahmavido api asya brahmaham iti vedanam. The consciousness I am Devdat. So I gave that. The consciousness I am Barbara or I am Swami Chandrasekharananda. So this consciousness I am Devadatta is independent of circumstances. Similar in the case with the realization of the knower of Brahman, that he is Brahman. So, as of now, we identify with our body, mind, intellect. Even the Anandamaya Kosha, we are not to identify with all these external things. Rather, we are to identify with our real self. So a person who has attained that is enough. The consciousness I am Devadatta is independent of circumstances. Similar is the case with the realization of the knower of Brahman, that he is Brahman. So he knows. We may say we know, that's not knowledge. Real knowledge. Say, as of now, we know this is my name. One has to attain that state that it is natural for him, and he has totally separated himself from this dual throng, from this relative world. First one has to separate. After separation, then he can see, oh, it is me and me alone. Then I'll not hate anyone. Then I'll not be infatuated with anyone. So that state will come. So prano hi eshaha yaha sarva vibhutir vibhati vijanan vidwan bhavati nati badin atma krida atmarati kriyavan esha brahma vidam varishta. So atmarati, he knows that I alone exist. He knows that there are not two. For him, he enjoys. It is not enjoyment of some sweetmeat, but enjoyment of his own real self. A glimpse we find in our dreamless state. And that is our most exalted state. Not in this world. Because here we are buffeted by so many things, so many pros and cons, negatives and positives. But in a dreamless state, we have a little glimpse of that. Okay, we go to the next. Bhanuneva jagat sarvam bhasate yasya tejasa anatmakam asattuchha kim nu tasya avabhasakam. What indeed can manifest? That whose luster like the sun causes the whole universe. Unsubstantial, unreal, insignificant to appear. See now this. You are shining like a sun. You are shining like sun. In your shine, everything shines. Let me repeat. You are shining like a sun. In your shine, everything shines. Tasya bhasa sarvam idam vibhati. You are there. In your awareness, everything exists. If you are not there, this world does not exist. When you are there, then so many things, so many colors, so many entities. It is you. You are there, so your dream, all the character of your dreams exist. If you are not dreaming, dream does not exist. So it is you. You are shining like Bhanu. Bhanu means sun. Bhanu Reva. Bhanu Neva. Jagat Sarvam Bhasayate Yasya Tejasa. In your shine, everything shines. Anatmakam atucham kim tu tasya abhavasakam. Something which is not you cannot shine anything. No, we see, Swami, this light is shining. It is shining because of you. You are there, so you are witnessing this shine. It has no shine of its own. So the knower of self knows this, that I shine, everything shines. Veda Shastra Puranani bhutani sakalanyapi yenarthavanti tam kinnu vijñātaram prakashayet. What indeed can illumine that eternal subject by which the Vedas, the Puranas, the scriptures, as well as all beings are endowed with meaning? Even Vedas, you are there, so Vedas are there. You are there, so even personal God is there because of you. We worship, see it. We are not antagonistic of worship. Please don't misunderstand. Because we are not trained in that, so we have to go through this. But for knower of self, like Sri Ramakrishna, when he used to worship, to put some flowers on his own head. And he started feeding cat, whatever was supposed to be offered to Mother Kali. Because he saw everything, it is the same truth. For him, there is no difference. There is no separate Kali there. Kali is here, Kali is in cat, Kali is everywhere. So Veda, Shastra, Purana, even Veda, Shastra, Purana, Bhutani, Sakalanyapi, all the, see you exist because of me. You also can say, you exist because of me. We can see this in our dream. Our dream exists because of me. Similarly, this world exists because of me. And that is why Veda, Shastra, Puranani, Bhutani, Sakalanyapi, Yenarthavanti, Tam Kinnu Vijñātaram Prakashayat. What indeed can illumine that eternal subject by which the Vedas, the Puranas, the other scriptures, as well as all beings are endowed with a meaning. So here, Vijñātaram Arekena Vijaniya. Yenedam Sarvam Vijanati, by which all this is known. Yenedam Sarvam Vijanati, by which everything is known. Tam Kena Vijaniyat, by what can you know him? By which everything is known. By what you can know? Because nothing, only by itself. I am speaking, I am there. How I know I am there? It is Swasambedya. Swasambedya means it is self-evident, self-effulgent. It does not require another light to lamp, another light to illumine. So, Yenedam Sarvam Vijanati, Tam Kena Vijaniyat. Vijñātaram Arekena Vijaniyat. How, by what you know the knower? So this is, today it is time. So this is Swayam Jyoti. Yeshaha Swayam Jyotihi Ananta Shaktihi Atma Aprameyaha Sakalanubhutihi Yamema Vigyaya Vimukta Bandho Jaityayam Brahma Viduttamottamaha. So we'll read this and then we'll close for today. Here is the self-effulgent Atman, the self. It is self-effulgent Atman of infinite power beyond the range of conditioned knowledge. Yet the common experience of all, realizing which alone this incomparable knower of Brahman lives his glorious life, free from bondage. So one should know one's real self. Then he is freed from all these bondages. So we'll stop here. The time is up. Is there any question?
My question is, next week, can we take up how does the knower get known? It's a complicated discussion.
Say knower by self. How you know yourself? By yourself. So here question is not a question, it's answer.
Okay,
So how you know yourself? You don't require any evidence. Terence, give me evidence that I exist.
it's all in the Bhavaraka plane, though. I want to know beyond the Bhavaraka plane.
No, one thing. The thing is, as of now, we know as Jain or Swami Chandrasekharananda. This
Okay.
knowledge is not real knowledge. We have to reach that knowledge. Even as of now, it is there, by which we know everything. By this knowledge, we know everything. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. It shines, everything shines. You shine, your dream shines. All the character of your dream come to existence. Similarly, you are there, so our whole world exists because of you. So, it does not require another evidence for this. So here it is not a question. Vigyataram are kena bijaniya. How can you know the knower of self? The knower of the Vigyataram. Vigyataram is the knower. How you know the knower? You don't know the knower by some other evidence. That is the point. You know because you know. It is self-evident. How you know that you are Jain? You know. You don't require any lamp. Okay, now see through lamp, I am Jain. No, not like that. Right?
Right.
Thank you. Okay.
We'll discuss further. Thank you.
Pardon?
We will discuss further. Thank you.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Okay, this way we can say, by purifying yourself, you know what you are. Okay, this way we can say. As of now, we are enmixed, where everything is mixture. By separating what you are not, rather, to finding what you really are, you know yourself. So by knowing the knower, how you know by knower? By knowing. As of now, some impediments come in between. Awareness of body, awareness of mind. So we are to cautiously separate it. It is like munjat ishika eva. Like, in our childhood, we used to remove a grass and from inside we used to take out. Munjat ishika eva. Munja is a grass. So because it is very subtle, one has to be carefully take it out. So we are to take out as of this mixture. From this mixture, we are to take out our real self. That means discard whatever not self. That is why renunciation is required. See, we cannot hold the crocodile thinking that it's a log, harmless. Rather, we are to renounce immediately because it is a crocodile and jump to the shore.
Great analogy, right? Yeah, great analogy. Thank you.
The Swami from Brazil said that it's more difficult for an enlightened person to use his mind than it is for the non-enlightened person not to use his mind.
Say Sri Ramakrishna, see, a microscope was brought, microscope, and it was explained to him, if you see through this lens, then even a hair looks like a finger. But Sri Ramakrishna could not see through that because he could not bring his mind down to put that mind through the lenses. Because he sees only one. Many times he could not count. Can you imagine this? Because he's seeing one only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, so easy for you. But he could not count when he's in Samadhi. Even he could not utter the name of God, Kitna, Kitna, Krishna, Krishna. There is no two. Do you count in your dreamless sleep? Can you count? Okay, tonight you try. When you are in dreamless sleep, you try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you very much.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, Swami.
Jai Mahaswami.
Thank you, Swami.